past, they start to rise. Monsters lurking deep beneath the skies. Fear grips my heart. I can't escape. Bump in the night, where the fears collide. Monsters awaken, nowhere to hide. Shadows are calling, they beckon me near. In the dance of the dark, I feel no fear. Moonlight reveals the horrors unseen. Whispers of darkness haunting my dream. Figures that twist in the corners of sight. I shiver alone in the grip of the night. Creatures of shadow come out to play. Nowhere to hide. Shadows are calling, they beckon me near. In the depths of the dark, I feel no fear. As the dawn breaks, the shadows retreat. In the light of day, the monsters deplete. In the dead of night, I hear them whisper. Shadows dance on walls, growing crisper. Echoes of the past, they start to rise. Monsters lurking deep beneath the skies. Fear grips my heart. I can't escape. Bump in the night, where the fears collide. Monsters awaken, nowhere to hide. Shadows are calling, they beckon me near. In the dance of the dark, I feel no fear. Moonlight reveals the horrors.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday Paranormal Coffee Talk. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts. We've got Eric waiting patiently for me to turn his mic on. And after we get through a few announcements and stuff, we'll go ahead and take care of today's talk section. And we're going to be discovering a little bit about what they call Hogzilla. Okay. Now, this is something that is very prominent in North America, at least in the United States. I believe has been actually seen or shot during hunting and unalived, to say the least. But interesting topic, that's to say the least. Let's do the disclaimer and we'll get into it. Copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. And you know what? I don't even have to really do the disclaimer. I'm just doing it to be polite to YouTube. So there you go, YouTube. You can read it yourself. And that's that. Also, all the content, including all of the music on this channel that we play, are the sole ownership of William Nighthawk and Nighthawk High Strangeness, which we have proof of through using the app called Donna. And it is the music app where you can make your own songs and stuff. And it is a really good app. I suggest everybody check it out. It's definitely got a future. So at least with me, it does. And that being said, we also use the UCut app for all of our video editing needs, which allows us also fair use of all of our content. So that being said, let me take this disclaimer off of here. Turn Eric's mic on, and I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat. Let me see here. How many people we got in the chat now? We got, let's see, I saw, let's see. There's Tanya. Tanya, God bless you. Wow, Tanya, that's fantastic.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that pop up.
That is fantastic. Yeah.
I'm not seeing
Thank
that
you,
no more.
Tanya. That means a lot. Thank you. This Heifer, good to see you. Tanya, good to see you. Ida, good to see you. Let's see. Woo Riders in the house. Imagine that. Bounty, good to see you. Let's see here. Who else we got? We got Carl in the house delivering packages. Michelle, good to see you. Yes, there is a live today at 11 a.m. Let's see. Who else? We got Corey. We got Daryl. We got Roxanne. We got, let's see, who else we got? Let's see. Further I go down. Urso, good to see you. Okay, there's that bizarre and unknown guy there. All right. Let's see. And Joanne, good to see you, Joanne. All righty. Well, I did it. And I know Eric's been busy at making music since I gave him the tip.
Mm-hmm.
And
that thing, that's
I've got
pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got some new ones too that I had done, and I was trying to upload them. Amy, good to see you. And unfortunately, I only got one to upload in time for the show, but I'm going to go ahead and play that real quick for everybody so they can see how good this app is. I did this one in two separate styles. I did one in like a rock ballad type of a thing, or a harder rock. And then I did one in a softer ballad type of a thing. But I'm going to play it for you and let you see what kind of quality I'm talking about when it comes to them. This one, the new one, is called Innocence Lost, and it talks about basically a haunted house and spirits of children within the haunted house, and it's got some good lyrics in it. The lyrics are the hardest part to make up, to tell you the truth. So here we go. I'm going to play it for you.
In the shadows where children once laughed, echoes linger of a haunting past. Whispers carry through the empty halls, a broken lullaby in the silence falls. Ghostly figures dance on moonlit floors, their playful spirits linger still indoors. When the sun rises, the spirits grow still. In the daylight, they fade at their will. Only shadows remain of their youthful grace. In this haunted house, their eternal space. Windows shattered, memories fade. In this haunted house where innocence played. Beneath the stars they silently cry. But with dawn's first light, they vanish and fly. Time's curse binds them to disgrace until night returns so they can embrace. When the sun rises, the spirits grow still. In the daylight, they fade at their will. Only shadows remain of their youthful grace. In this haunted house, their eternal space. As twilight calls them back to dance, in the shadows they find their chance. These haunted heights, their eternal fade.
What do you think?
Mm. It seems to be pretty popular.
I saw some comments in there about needs more guitar and all that, but I think it kind of filled it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few more that I've got a couple more versions of songs and stuff too that I did. So I'm getting pretty close to getting a full hour's worth of. Hey, Vaughn, good to see you. Yeah, music therapy. You're right. But
Yeah, the girl.
I've got a couple more I've got to put together, and then I'll have my whole hour for the podcast on that genre of music. So.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I was trying to stay awake until Jessica got off of Project Grad last night, so I was just making music, and then finally I was like, okay, I gotta tap out. Got about an hour of sleep and had to get up and go get her.
Yeah. Hey, girl, good to see you in there. Daryl, good to see you. Let's see here.
I mean, those sound good. Trying to figure out which ones haven't uploaded all yet.
Being in Missouri, you definitely have wild hogs there. We have them here where we're at too. Not as many, and I know they're pretty prevalent, the javelinas and stuff out in the Southwest. But I'm going to show you guys a recent picture that blew my mind on how big hogzillas can be. And I know there's the Russian hogs that get real big, but this one is just phenomenally huge. And it literally just blew my mind when I saw this. Check this out.
Oh, yeah.
That is a 3/4 ton pickup truck, by the way, in that picture. It's a Chevy Silverado 2500. So, yeah, that is a huge hog. I mean, that's the kind of hog you could ride and, like a horse. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
Literally. And that's just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There have been reports of these things being close to a ton in body weight.
Mm.
This one right here, I believe,
Mm.
was over 1,200 pounds. So I can't imagine how big a 1-ton hog would be. That's just freaking huge. But I thought that was amazing. When I saw that picture, I said, you know what? We need to talk about Hogzilla. Is it something that they're eating? Is it something genetic wise? Oh, thank you, George. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Heck yeah. Prehistoric bacon strips. Hell yeah. Bring me the bacon, baby.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, that's a lot of freaking pork. I don't know if I could eat all that, to tell you the truth, even if it was pulled pork, even if
Mm-hmm.
it was a Texas barbecue or a Missouri barbecue or Oklahoma barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd be able to eat that whole hog. That's a lot of pork. I haven't seen that much. I haven't
Yvonne,
seen that much pig since I drove past the cop convention in St. Louis.
Yvonne wants to know where was that one at?
This one was in Georgia. This one was in Georgia. And it is, man, I just couldn't believe how big that thing was. I mean, taken in comparison to the pickup truck, that's a lot, man. That is a one beast of a pig. Got to ask Dave and Melissa, what would they think if they were rocking out doing their Bigfoot hunts in the middle of the Appalachians and that pig came up on them?
Okay, Jay says we
I don't, I
feed
don't
our
even,
hogs baby dog man.
baby dog, man. Chemtrails. That's a good idea. And it's been proven that the chemicals and chemtrails and stuff can cause certain things. I wonder if it could cause
Mhm.
genetic defects or mutations in wildlife
Well,
and even plant life. I mean, think about it, how much of that chemicals and stuff is being dumped on these trees and these shrubs and these bushes and you know, it's amazing some of these things don't become man eaters.
mhm. Well, you also got to think too, if they're using Monsanto grains and them hogs are eating that stuff, those are full of hormones and stuff like that. I mean, they got all kinds of weird stuff in them, which is causing extreme growth. I mean, prematurity in teens. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
doing it to us, it's doing it to them too.
Yeah, very
All I can
true.
say is,
Very
looks like
true.
meat back on the menu, boys. Hey, Caleb, dude, that could feed a family for a year.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? Back in the late '90s, early 2000s, when I was in the Marines, I had a friend of mine, a brother who was from Tennessee, and he was telling me about hogs that big, which I thought he was pulling my leg. You know, he was just yarning me. Hey, Demiria. Um, but I tell you, I mean, once I seen the first pictures of those, God, they're hogzillas, I was like, holy crap! Oh, Caleb, you're awesome, dude. Thank you, bro.
Oh, Caleb,
You're badass.
thank you, brother.
But then I seen the pictures for the first time. I was like, holy crap, dude, this guy wasn't yarning me at all. There's hogs that big. We got wild hogs here, but none of them that damn size. And I always wonder, is this a mutant? Is this? I mean, the possibilities go from one end to another. Oh, look at that, the girl. Whoop, whoop, 5 months. Whoop, whoop.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
Maureen, you're awesome, man. 5-month member. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, and there was theories back in the late '90s and early 2000s. All these are lab genetically modified to help the issue of the lack of food in the world. And there's, oh well, these things are supernatural, and oh, it's just a freak um, mutation, and I mean the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
Well,
Of
obviously, though, there is some type of a mutation going on, because I believe that there was
oh,
a
um,
certain breed of Russian. Oh, thank you, Maureen. That's awesome. There is a certain breed of Russian hog
mhm.
that grew to enormous size,
Oh,
and
Michelle, holy crap,
oh,
you guys are
Michelle, thank
amazing.
you. The
Oh wow.
it blows my mind thinking that people have lost hogs or had them escape and interbred with, the razorback hog or
Hmm.
the javelinas and stuff like that. It can happen. I mean, it's the same genetic base, so mutations can happen.
Yeah, they can. And you got to think of this: the Russian Razorback that was introduced to the United States, when it does interbreed with a domestic hog, you are going to get a monstrosity like that. Maybe not every single time, because them Russian Razorbacks are huge versus our domesticated hogs, which were smaller. So when you get that two of a combination coming together, it is not out of the realm of possibility of getting something that size every now and then. You also got to consider what's the food source. If they got plenty to eat, they're going to grow. So if you got all that
Right.
combination, it's like the perfect soup, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah. Sorry, I
So
started to lose my voice
I,
there for a second.
you're good. I for one have never classified them as a cryptid. I know some people do. I don't, just because they are purely scientifically can be proven. It's a mutation, a freak one,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
is a mutation.
It's just it's basically like the new species of polar bear that's been spotted when it crossbred with a grizzly, you know, and came out with a different type of a polar bear, because the one hunter killed it by
Mm-hmm.
accident, thinking it was a purebred polar
Mm-hmm.
bear, but when they found out, basically it had some of the markings of a grizzly bear on it. So
Mm-hmm.
mutations in nature do happen. And I do believe that this should not be considered a cryptid. I know we give it outrageous names like Hogzilla. It's the dramatization of how big it is. That's really the only way to describe these kinds of hogs, is calling them Hogzillas, because they are so big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that one just barely fit in the back of that guy's pickup truck. You know, a Chevy Silverado 2500. That's a pretty good sized truck.
All good, Tanya. All good. Well, I was wondering because it wasn't showing up on my chat, but it showed up on Williams.
Huh?
She said she gave that last week when the show was canceled.
Oh, thank you, Tanya. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff happens, folks, and you have to consider with the genetic modification of seeds and plants now, which part of the reason for obesity, premature maturing in our teens. That stuff, these things are eating that stuff too. I mean,
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
there's a reason why we're called long pork and hog is called pork. We're very
Well,
similar. So if it's going to
Van
happen to us, it's going to
Van
happen
brings up
to them.
yeah, Van brings up a very good point about Chernobyl and the mutated wolves there. I've also heard of mutated fish life there, and
Mm-hmm.
deer there and stuff. I haven't seen any proof of it, but if you recall, in the 80s, was it 80s or 90s, when the one Godzilla movie came out that had Matthew Broderick in it, where he played the
Mm-hmm.
scientist in Russia at Chernobyl, and he said that the earthworms there grew 30% in size
Mm-hmm.
after Chernobyl. So even in that
Yep.
movie, they disclosed that basically mutations can happen, you know, when something else is
Mm-hmm.
introduced into the environment that isn't normally there. So
Yep.
just like the Russian, wild hog, I mean, it wasn't introduced into North America until recently, and now that it did interbreed, and you have these mutations, and yeah, some people may call them cryptids, but I don't. I specifically call them just mutated animals, wildlife. It
Yeah.
happens in nature. You have two-headed snakes
Mm-hmm.
out there frequently too. I mean, it just something is introduced
Oh yeah.
into the environment that isn't normally there, and it seeds some kind of mutated gene inside the wildlife and plant life too. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you got to think wherever radiation has been introduced at a high level, the whole premises behind Godzilla was the testing of atomic bombs, which created Godzilla. Right. The reason why they have that concept and that theory of Godzilla is because that actually happens when you get that kind of radiation
right.
in an area like that. Extreme growths, extreme mutations, and stuff like that happens. That has been proven everywhere that in radiation's either been tested or leaked that stuff happens. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that what we're getting? I
Yeah.
mean, look how much atomic testing was done here in the U.S.
Exactly. And I was just going to bring that up too, because look at the size difference from before the 1940s, pre 1940s, before the atomic testing in White Sands, New Mexico, compared to currently the insect size there. This
Oh,
especially the
Caleb,
spiders. Oh, Caleb, thank you, bro. That is so
dude,
freaking awesome. Thank you, man.
you're awesome, bro.
The whole
You're
purpose of atomic testing and stuff was to do it in areas that weren't going to be that adversely affected by it. And
hmm
obviously, no matter where they tested it, even if it was the French Polynesian Islands, you know, during World War II, it didn't matter. It would still mutate certain aspects of the environment, whether it was wildlife or plant based. And, you have to ask yourself too, think about history, for example, you know, about the ancient trees being over a mile tall, you know, about just look at the difference between modern day trees currently on the East Coast compared to the West Coast. Okay. Look at the size difference of the trees. The trees on the West Coast are a lot bigger, a lot more girth, a lot more height, um, almost otherworldly. Okay, I almost didn't get the word out. So, is it an effect of maybe possibly radiation fallout from World War II that is spurring this weird abnormal growth? I mean, when I was growing up in the woods, we'd pass a grapevine. And grapevines would get probably the size and diameter of a quarter. Now I'm seeing them the size of a $50. You know, I mean, things are definitely getting exponentially
hmm
larger in our world, and
hmm
I can't help but think and relate it to the giants coming back.
Yeah. Man, yeah. Huh. Did it
Sorry, I got to take a break.
wait,
I gotta-
did it waken something up? I mean, this is all good possibilities. I don't know, you know. But I agree with you guys in
yeah,
the microwaving. That's why we call it the term of nuking our food, is because you use radiation to heat it. You're nuking it. That's why I don't use a
exactly.
microwave. Well, I should say I rarely use a microwave, only when I don't have a choice, really. Oops.
I'll use a microwave. I don't care because I've got so much radiation going through my system still from all the chemo and all the radiation therapy that I don't have to worry about that. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
rename myself Radiation Man. What was that comic book hero, that Atomic Man or something like that from the 50s?
Atomic Man. Yeah.
Ugh.
The atom.
Yeah, the Atom. There you go.
Yeah. It's now you gotta create your own little theme song. Heck
Have my little backup band with my ghetto blaster on my shoulder.
yeah, man. I am Radiation
Uh,
Man. I fry sensors whenever I can.
actually, Candy, I probably did glow after the radiation treatments because they said that they used the maximum amount of radiation they could ever use on a human being at the time to basically shrink my tumor. My tumor was over 11 centimeters in diameter. Okay. And it
Mm.
spanned 3/4 of the length of my esophagus. So when they removed that tumor, they removed all of about 90% of my esophagus and made my stomach my esophagus. So yeah, I probably did glow. So I could probably have
You'd be
even
looking like
had like Superman's, laser beam eyes or something. You know what I mean? So
give me the X-ray vision at a supermodel freaking hoo ha.
God.
uh, but no, I mean, yeah, you're gonna walk around like Mr. Burns, glowing red. It's an alien. No, it's a mutant. It's an alien. It's William Nighthawk,
Yeah,
Radiation Man.
Michelle has a good question there. That's a good question. I have done so much
Yeah.
research on my own throughout my whole cancer battle, even to today. That's all I ever do really is research anymore. And I have found out that it is a parasitic type of a how do I want to say this? A bodily contamination. Okay. An unnatural contamination that could be caused by several different environmental issues, certain
I've been
chemicals,
watching that
certain
cartoon.
medications, certain foods. Um, the body's immune system is constantly under attack. And that's why some people have superhuman immune systems and other people don't. Some people are just beaten down.
Mm.
Um, but cancer, definitely, I would believe 100% that it is a parasitic type of an attack. And I first started finding out about the parasitic attachment when I was doing frequency uh, studies. And I found out that the 1150 hertz frequency uh, is a parasitic killing um, frequency to use. Um, so anything between 1150 hertz to 1500 hertz can kill a parasitic attachment. So every now and then I'll lay down at night and I'll put the frequency stuff on, There's also been other cases of certain medications, taking care of parasitic attachments. But I don't want to get into that whole disclosure, and copyright crap with YouTube. So we're not even going to venture there. But
Mm-hmm.
all I can say is being a cancer survivor and on my third battle, that currently it's in my left lung. Um, it always finds a way to be evasive, and it's almost like that mutated genetic gene in some of the wildlife species. It always finds a way to to continue on. So it's like that saying in
Like
Jurassic Park, life always finds a way.
it's like they have their own brain cells and like, hey, this dude's trying to get rid of me, so we got to hide. And okay, it's done. We can come back out.
Mhm.
Survival of the fittest.
Hey, Deborah, good to see you in there. And Joanne, good to see you.
Camo's in here. We got a lot of people who came up in here.
Oh, Camo, yeah, good to see you. Wow, cool. Awesome. Awesome. I'm gonna pop that picture up again about that hog, and I think Camo Dad will be impressed with that one. So
Mm-hmm.
let's see here.
Yeah, and I was seeing a deal in here earlier that you can't take a hog down with a 9 mil. You can if you hit them in the right spot. It's harder to do it, but you can take one of those hogs down to 9 mil. You can take it down with a five
Yeah.
five six. That just you have to hit it in the right spot. If you don't, the thing's going to turn on you and come get you.
Yep. And you don't want to mess with a ticked off half a ton to a ton
Mm-mm.
hog.
Look at the tusk on that thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I can't believe
Mm-hmm.
that thing had to have been every bit of 4 feet at the shoulder standing up, if not taller.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, look at the height of the bed, the
Yeah.
pickup truck bed. It's over the height of the head of it is probably what, 6 inches above the height of the top of the bed, the side of the bed, the pickup truck bed. So, and there's probably maybe 4 or 5 inches on the ground between the hooves. So that thing had to have been
Mm-hmm.
every bit of 4 feet tall at the shoulder. That's a big
Oh
freaking
man.
hog, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Land shark. Oh yeah. I'm actually looking at things. I wonder how the ham would taste on that, and the pork steaks, and the bacon. It's the ribs. God, you'd have to have a grill the
Yep.
size of a pickup just to cook the daggone ribs on that thing.
Yeah, you know what comes to mind to
That's the big
me,
one.
Eric, is the fact
Mhm,
that
that's it.
where it says that Jesus cast out the demons and put them into the bodies of
Mhm,
the pigs, into the
mhm,
hogs, and that's a belief that even the Islam faith, they don't eat pork, and that's one of the reasons why they don't eat
mhm.
pork.
Called
Um,
unclean.
so yeah, so if it's unclean, does that mean that the mutated species is an unclean species? Does that make them less
Mhm.
of a, I don't know how to even describe it, less of a right to living than a naturally born
I keep that
species?
voice down. Yeah, I mean that's actually snow. It's kind of hard to talk when your head is in my mouth.
Do you want more coffee?
Uh, no, I'm good. I still got some. Thank you, baby. Sorry, guys. Snow. If you can't keep your head out of my mouth, you're going to be back on your bed. All right. You know the rules. Use your manners. Don't look at me that way. I'll eat your face. Arr. I love you, buddy. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it does make okay. That's it. You listen. Go in your bed. You got right back in my face again. Um, as far as the fact is, of course, they said that the hogs that Yeshua put the demons in ran off a cliff into the ocean, but could they have
into the
escaped
Red
into
Sea.
another one? Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing that I'm thinking. What if this is also something attached supernatural wise to these? I mean, we know that the mutations happen genetic wise when you introduce new
Yeah.
species or chemicals or whatnot and change the environment in some way, shape, or form. We know that is actual fact. It's been scientifically proven. But what if it was enhanced with something supernatural? What if, say, a Nephilim spirit enhanced the mutation?
I mean, our height is. I mean, you was kind of hitting a very good point earlier with our height is going back up after going down. Are we looking at the same thing? And that's kind of where I'm at on this.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of where my mind is with these type of things. Is I think for some reason because of genetic crossbreeding, we're getting back to them. I mean, we've all seen the pictures of mountainsides that look like big ass hogs. Is the same thing happening to them because of the cross breeding, or just because it's time for the to wake up that it's going back to that? You know,
Right.
are they growing like we are? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that explains it.
Oh,
That
sorry.
explains a lot, David. That explains a lot, David. With a lot of people in the world having parasitic
Mm-hmm.
worms in their brains, so, especially some of the, shall we say, questionable subjects that are in Congress right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I went there.
Yeah. I touched
Uh,
that. Oh man. Oh, I'm
so
drinking coffee from
if
my
we
new
have the
cup.
mutated genes and stuff, if we have the mutated genes and stuff, then what's causing
Uh-huh.
these? And just out of curiosity, I want everybody's opinion on this. What's causing these to be seen more often?
Yeah, I was looking at one yesterday of a giant snake in a river, but it looks so AI.
This is a lake that's in Pennsylvania, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And here's an artist's rendition of what was seen too.
It's a water dragon. Yeah, mine too. Okay, mine too. Caleb, 100%.
Yeah, Deborah, I think
Yes.
that's true. The Earth is warming up for something, but yeah,
Yep.
yep.
I mean, look how many Nessies we're finding around the world. Seriously, there's creatures just like Nessie all over the world. So once again, back to
Did
my
the
theory,
poles?
the asteroid didn't
Yeah,
destroy all the dinosaurs because we're seeing proof of this stuff still to this day.
yeah. I was watching something last night, before the podcast last night. that somebody said that they caught on a trail camera. And here it was a long neck dinosaur, and I gotta say that the actual video of it looked legit. It wasn't. They had a still picture. Looked like it might have been touched up with CGI a little bit to make it a little bit more fierce looking, I guess. But the video of it actually it didn't look like it was AI generated, and it had a legitimate timestamp on it too, as far as like a trail camera could do. Um, I haven't researched it yet because I just saw it yesterday evening. So I'm gonna have to research that a little bit more, do a reverse search on it, and try to figure out. But apparently, it was something that the military in the Congo put out trail cameras to videotape wildlife, and specifically to find the Makela Mbembe, and
Yep.
yeah, and apparently they got it on video. So, do you believe it? Well, that's on the other side of the world as far as I'm concerned, and I'll probably never get there ever again. So I kind of 50-50 at it. There's that possibility in the back of my mind that tells me that it could have survived. Um, but if it is the last of its kind, how is it reproducing? Okay, unless it's able to do it on its own, like some frog species. Um,
Oops.
I don't foresee a single species like that, especially that size, still being alive today. I really don't. Um, Probably because of the size. I would find it more believable if it was a smaller dinosaur that has been videotaped, by the way, in the United States, as a matter of fact, um, and in South America. Um, I would find that more believable on a smaller dinosaur, say maybe 2, 3 foot tall, than a 40-foot monstrosity that has a 25-foot long tail, you know? So, I mean, when you're talking something longer than a 60-foot mobile home, it's going to be hard to stay alive. I mean, just think about the amount of food it would have to eat, and the amount of water it would have to drink, and the amount of oxygen it would have to breathe. It would almost be, if it was the last one of its kind, I would say that it is probably currently now extinct completely because it was the last of its kind and couldn't rebreed or
Crap.
repopulate on its own.
Crap.
Um,
Stop.
and that maybe, just maybe, the Congo authorities are kind of exaggerating the story a little bit to continue the myth, to make it a myth that makes their country worth visiting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, can't leave that out. I'm one of the believers that they actually do exist, which I think I know what video you're talking about because it's the one that I've got that I used when I did a show on it. So, did you have that video uploaded?
No, I don't.
There, I can screen share. I found it. I think this is the same video that you're talking about. Okay. Oh, now you don't want to play. Was that the one?
Yeah, yeah. That it was a longer video, though. It played a lot longer.
Well, I cut it down so I wouldn't get
I think I saw one of
I
the
wouldn't get
yeah. Hey, Larry.
7 month member Larry. Hey Larry. I gotta see where I left off up here. There's a lot of people talking about all these earthquakes and things coming up from inner Earth, and I agree that is a very good possibility. The reason why we're seeing some of this, if that theory is true, and they're coming up from, like Caleb says here, from the inner ocean, or they're coming up from the ground with the inner Earth theory that the dinosaurs survive underneath the crust of the Earth, and the fact that we're having all these earthquakes and it's causing openings for them to come back up. Is this why we're seeing a huge, stupid thing, huge increase in this type of stuff? Yeah, underground waterways too. Yeah, I mean, all of it is very good possibilities.
Well,
Yeah, oh yeah.
then are we going under the assumption that the Earth is hollow?
I've always said my theory is it's honeycombed. I've always had that theory.
Well, yeah,
Ever since I was
but
knee high to grasshopper's butt,
but
and I've
what
read.
what I'm saying what I'm saying is it's not honeycombed. Honeycomb to me, honeycombed is different from hollow. Okay, hollow is like, say you get the chocolate Easter bunny and you take a bite out of it and it's hollow on the inside, and just the outer crust is chocolate. Okay, that's what I consider hollow. I don't consider honeycomb hollow. To me, honeycomb is more like of a cavernous system or a cave system. Okay, which wouldn't
which
be
would have large.
ecologically viable unless you have massive caves like they do in what country was it? I think Malaysia, where they found that the world's
Arctic.
largest cave system with its own ecosystem. Um, so if we're talking something that's going to have creatures that big, it would have to be something a lot larger than a honeycomb system with caves and stuff like that and small caverns. It would have to literally be almost another continent underground.
I believe the first time I read The Journey to the Center of the Earth, that is when everything clicked into place for me. That book put things in such a perspective. I literally, which technically, if you read the book, it is based off both the honeycomb system and the hollow earth, which would make perfect sense. They really would. And that's why ever since I was knee high to grasshopper.
The honeycomb theory works when it comes to having a pathway to come to the surface. But as far as ecologically viable for certain species to coexist, you would need to have a complete habitable environment, which would have to include water, plant life, some kind of sun,
which they do.
And some kind of airflow or air quality to sustain the life. And
which
you would literally
the tunneling.
Yeah, you would literally have to theorize that it would have to be more of a inner Earth type of a continent than a cave or a cave system. Now, the cave systems and volcanic tubes and stuff, lava tubes, have been used for thousands upon thousands of years to travel for certain animals and wildlife, especially when they're inactive. Okay. So, yes, I do believe the cave systems are used for certain species to come from within the earth to the surface. I mean, who's to say that that's not how Dogman and Bigfoot and Lizard Man even got here? It could be a viable means like any highway system on the surface of the earth, cave systems can do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And
But I think here's a good sound thing to do to try sometime. If anybody's got trail cameras and stuff, and you live near a cave system, try putting those trail cameras inside the caves and see what kind of wow, look at that. They're messing with the cameras. Wow.
hmm,
See what kind of wildlife actually see what kind of wildlife can actually exist in the cave systems by putting trail cameras in there. You know, that'd be my suggestion. Yeah, yeah, I know that. Yep.
yeah. Well, you got to think in the book, the journey to the center of the earth, when they carry they explain the very same questions you had on that. And you know, it was the cave systems which brought in the fresh air, which there's many different. So you got air coming from all different directions. The inner light is coming from the lava, which lava burns hot enough that it can produce the correct amount of heat in a moistured area to create an ecosystem. And that's what I love about that book is it explains things in such a way that scientifically it can work. And if memory serves me correctly, they made a mock version of that, and it did actually work. I can't remember for sure, but I remember. I think I read that in it was either in Reader's Digest or Science. What was that science one I used to like to read when I was knee high to a grasshopper's ass?
Popular science.
Something Popular Science. Thank you. They actually uh, they actually done a mock of that going off of that theory of that book, and it worked.
I don't doubt it that that's a viable theory.
Mhm.
Um, I just, for the amount of sightings and the amount of undiscovered species or previously considered extinct
Mhm.
species, I should say, um, for the amount of sightings of it now in today's world, it would definitely make more sense if the Earth was hollow. And that's
Yeah.
what kills me about this whole reverse polarity type of stuff that's going on that scientists are saying it's happening with the Earth. Is that's what's causing all this weird weather and all the violent earthquakes and flooding and all that? I mean, or is it the fact that something in the environment within the inner Earth has changed and science doesn't know how to solve it or answer it in any way viable or believable in that matter? So they make up this polar shift crap, you know? So,
Hmm.
I mean, how's somebody going to explain a 65-foot long, 30-foot tall dinosaur in the middle of, of a continent, you know, that basically was supposed to be extinct? There's no way to present that to the public to make it believable. Um, because there's going to be 50% of the population out there is going to be like, there's no way in heck that something like that could have survived all this time, without being seen more
Hmm.
often or exposed more often. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I deal with it. I deal with it every day. That I bring up certain subjects and I have people trying to shoot me down left and right on the existence of extinct species. Take for instance
Hmm.
the Titanoboa, an
Oh yeah.
80-foot long snake. Okay, perfect example. They have been finding 60-foot, 65-foot long anacondas in the Amazon. I mean, we're talking snakes that are big enough to swallow a human whole. Okay, to literally consume them in one gulp. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking spiders that are the size of, 5 foot in diameter, in Africa and the Congo and
Yeah.
all that. So I mean, the mutated species, I think, has a lot to do with it. And I think that the powers that be, since they have been doing their secret super, space, kind of scientific super secret squirrel stuff behind the scenes, whether it's military or just political parties, or
Mm-hmm.
corporations, I think that they unleashed a monster by introducing a lot of the chemicals and stuff into the environment. I think that,
Mm-hmm.
they try to dumb humanity down on purpose to make us, so, like, say if you're going down the road and you spot a 60-foot dinosaur walking across the field at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you didn't go to the bar, but yet they're going to say you were drunk and driving home, and it was just a hallucination, that it was nothing to see, because they want us to look stupid, that when people present
Mm-hmm.
evidence or see something, they want them to be laughed at or scoffed. Okay. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why you have these trolls that come into a lot of the podcasts and stuff that I've seen over the years, and interacting with chat groups and forums, calling, professional investigators and researchers, um, crazy or stupid or ignorant. I see it all the time. And that's why a lot of people don't want to talk about this stuff. They don't want to have that
Yep.
stigma attached to them. Okay. And I think that if that the people that are doing the serious research and should be the ones to speak up, but there's really no forums for them to do it professionally. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, years ago, is so there would be a forum for discussions like this. So there would be a forum
Yep.
for people to come forward and say, "Well, I saw this, and I'm not crazy, and I have a certain degree or whatever, and I've been researching this for years." You know, th- th- that's the whole purpose of communities like this, like ours. And
Yeah.
I think we need to focus on eliminating the stigma, so witnesses and observers and experiencers can come forward without having to have fear of being ridiculed or deemed psychologically unfit.
Yep. I couldn't find the image that I want. It's the one that I had when I was in college. This is about as close as I can get, and this is not even spot on. But you can see here where these kind of fold together in there, but they don't fit perfectly. There's always a gap in between these layers. And this is where, like, you just talk about
Mm-hmm.
the hollow earth, which I agree 100% because of this fact right here. Even if you stack them together,
Yeah.
there's space in between each one of these layers. Now, in college, they'll tell you that you'll have like one or two layers, then there'll be another layer of lava, which is this is usually, I think it's right here was the other layer of lava right here at the stenosphere. There's actually a layer of lava in between them. But so if when you talk about the cave systems going into hollow earth like you're talking about, I can see 100% because you can also see from here there's a gap in between the oceanic crust,
Right.
the continental crust. I mean, every single one of these layers has a gap in there. So I agree. I mean, I
Okay. Now
wholeheartedly.
here's my question too, Eric. Leave that up. Here's
Mhm.
my question. Okay.
Yeah.
My question with that theory, and this is just a question. This doesn't mean that I don't believe in the hollow Earth theory, because I do.
Mhm.
And I do believe that the lava tubes and the cave systems and
Hey,
caverns
Judy.
connect to it. I've always believed that. Okay, but my
Mhm.
question is, if we have depths in the ocean, like the Mariana Trench, that are bone
Mhm.
crushing depths in an ocean, um, how would that factor in with the hollow Earth theory? I mean, wouldn't it be the same
That could
thing?
be.
Uh, it'd be like having height sickness when you're climbing a mountain, okay, and you get short
Mhm.
of breath, and you have to be, life backed off of the Mount Everest per se, okay. It'd be the same
Mhm.
thing in reverse when you go into the Earth, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it can be. Yeah. And that's depending on what and you can get in. So, what from what I understand, um, there's areas in the crust that has very little air because there's not enough airflow going through. Your gravity is going to be greater, but it's also filtered due to the water and the lava. So, I mean, I don't know. Definitely a possibility, and that's one question I've always had. But the fact that we go into the earth all the time, we don't feel the pressure, and we can still breathe, kind of makes you wonder if that theory of the water or the lava actually filters it or done not filters it. What am I thinking of? Weakens it, kind of like a shielding.
Hmm.
Possible. I
Well,
don't
that's
know,
the other
man. I
thing
mean, it's a
too.
good.
Wouldn't if you don't have enough fresh oxygen supply to the inner Earth from the surface,
Mm-hmm.
um, wouldn't it wouldn't carbon monoxide tend to build up and eliminate any life form?
Well, and in the places that got a lot of gas buildup, I can see that because it doesn't have the proper airflow to expel it. So if it ain't got proper airflow to expel it, you're absolutely right. 100% right on that. You wouldn't be able to. There's no way you could. You'd have to be able to exhaust it. So, like in them areas, like not all caves are full of gas. Some of them are. So you get in them areas that's full of that stuff, it's because it doesn't have proper circulation of oxygen, which plant growth creates it, just like what Richard's saying here. Or the tunnels shooting the air out from one end and out the other, which causes that filtration, causes it to be exhausted out. If you don't have that, then you're going to have them areas that's got that gas in there that you can't live.
Right. Now,
Yeah,
when I
there's
was a
actually
water
plant
plant on
life.
all that, in my previous job, um, I
Mm-hmm.
used to do confined space entries. Okay. Now, with confined space entries, they give you a monitor device. And if that device went below 19.5% oxygen level, um, a human is literally at risk of becoming unconscious and dying. Now, my my whole basis for thinking that is because I've seen guys being rescued from confined spaces that were completely
Mm-hmm.
unaware of what happened to them in the short time frame that they were in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so,
Yep.
is that possible with the inner Earth theory? Um, maybe there's certain pockets of life underneath our feet, in the inner Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe
Mm-hmm.
the poisonous gases, are held at such a level that they're burned off through volcanic eruption.
Yep. Uh, who was it that said it? I agree with this is a very good possibility. Right here, Bounty said it. Life adapts to the area. Look at the hot lava tubes. There are plants that supply O2, vent holes. Maybe the part of the geyser at the Yellowstone type places likewise do with mines. That could be one way of expelling it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, that
yeah,
is definitely
yeah.
a
I
very
mean,
good possibility.
yeah, and hot springs and stuff and volcanic activity could be a way to regulate the inner Earth temperature too, from getting
Mm-hmm.
too hot, and getting too
Yep.
gaseous buildup. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's all kinds of viable scenarios we can come to conclusions to. But unless we make a device to drill into the Earth's core, like in the movie, um, we're never really going to know.
Yep. Well, I think they've already been doing that. Hell, Russia's done it, China's done it, we've done it, but they're never going to tell us what the findings are. You know, sorry. I mean, it's just this the truth. Unless somebody discloses it, we'll never know the truth. I mean, look at Russia. They tapped in so deep into the crust that they were getting demonic sounds coming from it.
Well, yeah, they
So,
call that the hellhole is what they call that in
yep,
Russia. And I believe they recently sealed it up.
yep, they did. Yep, absolutely right. You know, is that actually demonic sounds they were catching,
But
or
yeah,
is that actual
there's
sounds of
all
the
kinds of
civilization?
right, exactly. And the possibilities are literally endless and amazing if you think about it. If you really truly think about it, it is amazing. The way life can coexist and adapt to
Mm-hmm.
change. Like Bounty said, and like Caleb said, and several others in the chat said, and I believe
Mm-hmm.
Urso said it too. You know, life continually finds a way to change. So,
Yeah.
going back to the whole mutated species belief, is that a mutated gene that is in every life species that is on this planet that has that capability, or is it certain environmental things that make the change? Yeah, that's what we need to figure out. I mean, there's got to be a reason for wildlife to get so big and massive. I mean, we're finding grizzly bear out there that are standing over 16 feet tall on their hind legs. Okay. Now, I personally ran into grizzlies. Okay. And it's not a picnic. Okay. And when you have one stand up, and it's usually maybe 10, 9 feet tall, I can't imagine something 16 feet tall standing in front of me on its hind legs and having to look up at it, because that to me, that is, it's almost like the mutated gene skips a couple generations and then reappears.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I think we need to
Yeah.
figure out why that genetic species has that mutated gene that skips every possible couple generations. Figure out what's triggering it. You know what I mean? And I do believe wholeheartedly that it is the advancement of humanity that is causing it. I really do. And this is just coming from the heart, everybody. You know, I love my wildlife and I love my nature. I wouldn't be Native American if I didn't. But mankind has done something to stimulate a mutated gene in wildlife and in plant life, in flora and
Mm-hmm.
fauna. Okay. And we need to figure out what they did. You know, it's our
See,
obligation to the planet.
I'm a firm believer that every living thing has the DNA train or track from our ancestors of our past, which we know were totally different than us. And I believe that either A, because it wants to come out, or B, it's something causes it to come out. But look at this: when you can have two dwarfs have a child, and that child is normal height, but its mom, their mom and dad is a dwarf. That's because even the dwarves have that genetics in them to be a normal height, but for some reason their child um, got it and they didn't. I
Yeah.
believe that's that way in any
You
living
know,
thing.
my mother was only 5 foot tall. Um, and I have a sister that's below 5 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, and I was over 6 foot tall. And, even Tracy and I with our boys are well over 6 foot tall. One of them's probably 6'5", 6'6". The other one's like 6'2". So, getting larger and and predominantly, at least 30% larger seems to be the norm with genetics nowadays. So I can't help but
Mm-hmm.
think that it was something that is introduced into the environment by some freaking rocket scientist that thought he was God's gift to the scientific field that released in the
Yep.
environment and is causing it. I really believe that theory is a valuable theory. And until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to stick with it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to have somebody prove me wrong, that some Yahoo, that just because he graduated from Harvard or Oxford
Mm-hmm.
decided to play science experiment on humanity without humanity's knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, think of it this way. And until we, the people, stop believing these educated people, people, I went to Harvard and I went hundreds of $1,000s in debt to prove that I am better than you. Before that became a norm, it was people that got up off of their ass, out of their chair, and went out and had done the field research
Norm.
themselves. They were the experts in it. But now we are forced to believe you are not an expert unless you went to Harvard and you got thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Sorry, that shit
I
just
didn't go
don't
to
work for me.
Harvard. I went to Virginia Tech, but
I ain't, I
I
went to
also went to
SMSU. Didn't even get a chance.
University of Southern California at Berkeley. So
Mm,
I'm just saying, I'm no dummy.
yeah,
I'm no dummy.
I don't think, and I'll be, and I'm going to piss some people off, and it is what it is. I don't believe that piece of paper is what makes you smart. I believe what makes you smart is you getting
No,
your
it
ass
isn't.
out there and doing it. I mean,
Exactly.
I went to college too, folks. I didn't finish. I got 68 credit hours. I went to college for forensics, and then I finished off in wildlife management, Missouri conservation, minored in bovine and equine. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. That piece of paper don't make me smarter than anybody else in this chat or even my good brother here. I have my theories, I have my
I
beliefs,
agree.
and
I agree
from stuff that
100%.
I've studied and experienced. So,
Yeah, I agree.
but
I mean,
until we,
it's
the
it's the
people,
same with
wake up
me.
and start going, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
School of Hard Knocks. There you go, Candy. That's true.
Heck yeah.
That's very true. Hey,
But
Richard,
I
good to
mean,
see you in here.
it takes us going looking at the people go, yeah, we don't give a damn what you say, in order to stop that. So, the girl Marlene Wright. My great grandpa always said that you never stop learning until the day you die, and even then, you learn something new. And that's a mindset that we all need to
Yeah.
get back into.
Yeah.
Quit believing these people hold these little
And then you got to,
fonts.
hey, Kyle. Yeah, you got to also factor into though that there's certain, I like to call them garage scientists out there that are like mad scientists, and they're doing all these super secret squirrel experiments in their garage. And we know that they do it because we know that we have found evidence of scientists, in their garages making hadron colliders and stuff like that. Um, but what's to say they're not mutating other things? I mean, at one time, you know, there were stories of. Oh, I just had an orb fly past me. Um,
Oh no.
at one time, there were stories of rats in New York City being as big as a dog, and or alligators in sewers. Now, those things don't happen without somebody introducing something into the environment, whether it is the species itself or if it's something that they genetically altered in the environment. Um, whether it be a food source, a chemical, you know, plant base, any type of a thing. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many ways we can go about trying to figure this out, but there is
Mhm.
definitely something triggering the mutated DNA, the mutated gene to make it skip a generation and start back up.
Oh, cool. I'm back. I think I am.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, good. My whole damn computer just froze up again. I'm like, here we go, another show. Screw you, Alphabet. You ain't shushing me up.
Look at this. I'm showing we've got 322 comments in the chat, and I'll bet you by the time we're
Mm-hmm.
done today, it'll be every bit of 400. But YouTube's only going to show 6 or 7 participated in the
Mm-hmm.
chat. I guarantee it.
Yep. So, hi, Shadow. Hi, Mau. Hi, pretty
Well,
kitty titty.
I am getting to the point where it's getting harder to talk and stuff and breathe. And I'm on my third cup of coffee already this morning, so I have got to get some kind of rest today. We're not going to have a
Yep.
show tomorrow, okay? Because of Mother's Day. I plan on spending it, to with Tracy. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and even the dad moms out there. Um, you all are fantastic. Just remember, no parent is perfect. It's a learning curve, you know. But next week I'm going to try and do a podcast. I don't know if I'm going to do it recorded or if I'm going to go live. I'm just not sure. About midweek, and then we'll go back into the Into the Red Rabbit Hole Friday night. So,
Yeah.
everybody, let me know. Let me know in Messenger or in email what time frame or day of the week you think that say typically a 1 hour basically radio show with paranormal type of music and stuff and genre um, would be good to do. I'm thinking more on the lines of like maybe 3 p.m. Eastern time for an hour to start with, and just trying it out and seeing. But I've got to figure out what day of the week to do it on. Um, so any suggestions is greatly appreciated. Short of that, I will do a video to upload to the members only site this week also. I haven't done one in a while because I've been busy trying to do the music. So I am going to upload a video this week on that members only site. And I guess Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern is the next actual live, unless I come on and do
Mm-hmm.
the radio one. So, but
Meow.
short of that, that's what I got going on. If you can, please
Right.
like, heart, and share this out. Join the channel. If you haven't subscribed and hit the notification bell, please do that and hammer that like button, because YouTube is not honest. I'm sorry, they aren't. They are completely false when it comes to their algorithm and their analytics. And I have proof of that. So, anyways, that being said, you can visit the Into the Red Rabbit Hole store on bonfire.com. That's Into the Red Rabbit Hole. We have dozens upon dozens of T-shirts. We have at least a half a dozen different styles of coffee mugs and everything else. Um, so Into the Red Rabbit Hole on bonfire.com/store/ Into the Red Rabbit Hole, and it'll bring you up to the store. And you know, just like, heart, and share this out as
Mhm.
much as you can. Eric, you want to go ahead and let them know what you got going on today and tomorrow, because I'm not coming
Yeah.
on tomorrow morning because of
Yeah.
Mother's Day.
So, and to start out, happy Mommy Day to all the mummies out there. You know, I'm a daddy. My day will come, but today is your day. Your mummies. So, to all you beautiful mommies out there, happy Mommy Day to you. Today, we're going to do campfire chats with Eric and guest, and that is a safe place for you to come and share your encounters. If you want to come on live, I'll bring you on live. If you just want to talk about it in chat, we'll talk about it in chat. Man, that's not a problem one at all. So that show was created by you, the subscribers. That's your show to be able to get off your chest what you've experienced. Tomorrow, I haven't quite picked the topic yet. Pay per view starting 5 p.m. Eastern time. Is that another one coming up or so? Damn. Um, so Sunday, I'm going to continue on with the Legends of the Sea. Last week we did ghost ships, mainly focusing on the Flying Dutchman, which I'll be creating a commercial for that one, and then I'll probably I'm already working on songs right now for that. Then So I don't know exactly which one we're going to pick, but last week we talked about the Flying Dutchman, Davy Jones's Locker, and some of the other ghost ships that's out there. So I'm going to pick another one to do today. I've kind of been busy as hell at work, and I've been sick the last couple of days, so I'm a little far behind. So I'm going to be working on that today. So we'll get that done, and backlash Randy Orton kicking Cena's rump. Hell yeah, go Orton. But so that's what I got going on. Hopefully, I can get some writing in this weekend. If not, it'll be next weekend before I get any writing in. I know I'm behind on my short stories and the books. I'm not that time, and I've been sick. So it is. I've still got a pretty massive headache right now, but I'm doing a lot better than what I have been. So that's pretty much what I got going on. I've created some music. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, you guys let me know which ones you like. One of these songs is going to be the new opener for the. Can I put the link in the live chat? Yeah, give me 1 second. Well, I'll have to do it on Williams. That's right. It doesn't let me do it.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, Deborah. It should be popping up on Williams' deal here. There, it did. All right. Yep, good. So we're going to do that. I've been creating some music for commercials for last week's show and this week's show, so I'm going to be busy doing that today. So just keep an eye on my YouTube channel. Rate the songs that I created. Some of them, like the Bizarre and the Unknowns, one of them is going to be the opener for that show right there. The other stuff is for other things that I'm just kind of working on. Oh, that's you. So until then, everybody, that's what we got going on. So peace, love, and blessings to everyone.
God bless everybody.
I
We will see you all Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you later on today on Eric's show. I'll be in the chat, and if I'm awake, This is the song I wanted to upload, by the way.